First of all, guys, if you like to support me and the channel, my PayPal will be in the description, so thank you very much. This will basically be what if Naruto was like Aquaman, but in a Ōtsutsuki way, guys. So think of it as an entire different civilization from the normal world, where Naruto is going to be the ruler of the sea with his own entire world, until the land walkers decide to, well, attack his world. So I'm only going to be doing 3 series on a channel at a time. I'm still doing what if Naruto was Cosmic Ghost Rider and what if Naruto controlled the earth, so these will be the 3. And as you can see, I've shortened the series down to 40 minutes plus, so there will be no more cancellation, so you have nothing to worry about. From these 40 minutes videos no longer going to an hour, there shall be no more cancellation. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy them, guys. And thank you for the idea, so here it is, enjoy. Let's begin now. It all began when she gave birth to the 3 of them. 3 boys, destined to be great, destined to be powerful, destined to be something beyond the concept of what humans were. Brought into this world by a divine woman and her human mate. The hybrids should be something truly spectacular. Hagoromo Ōtsutsuki, Hamura Ōtsutsuki, and Naruto Ōtsutsuki. The 3 kids grew up, believing that things were well, until they start to see the inconsistency in their mother's story, until they start to see the ritual, until they found the people dead. Each brothers had their own set of ideals, but they all believe in something. Human beings should not be sacrificed for the will of their mother. The constant ritual process ending the life of so many. They had to stop her. Each of them powerful in their own right, but one of them stand out. He was the first one to be brought into this world, the first one that truly opened his eyes to feel the very universe itself. It was Naruto, and he was the strongest. There was absolutely no doubt about that. Since he could remember, he always had a connection with water. But the older he got, the more he knew that it wasn't just the water. It was the very essence of what was all around him. The ocean, the sea, the lake, the rivers, all of them. He was cursed with an uncontrollable affinity to water. It is seen as a curse the way it was simply obsessed with him. The very essence of water itself seemed to be obsessed with him, which wasn't natural. Then again, none of them were natural in the slightest, but he was something special. His brother Hagoromo Ōtsutsuki, he saw the toads learn their ways as he grew stronger, while Naruto meditated, growing with the sea, growing with the rivers, growing with the water. When the brothers finally confronted their mother, asking her to change her ways, she refused. A battle that ripped the land apart, a battle that drained the sea. As he rose it, he covered the heavens. He split the earth open, while his mother power was fierce, and the tree that protected her turning into something they will call the Jubi, a 10-tailed monstrosity. Him alone took on the 10 tails, allowing his brother to face off against his mother. Both Hamura and Hagoromo took her on, while Naruto went toe-to-toe with the 10-tailed beast, using water pressure so precise that he could send the beast halfway across the world. He plummeted it into the depths of the ocean. It tried to rise, trying to use its power, but it was no match. Within the depths of water, he could not be beaten by the beast. While it had a great amount of power, his control was simply too much. His power was simply too precise, too great. And thus when the three boys took on their mother, she stood absolutely no chance. She was locked away by the brothers, forever to be placed in an endless sleep. And things seemed peaceful, until Hagoromo. He wanted to teach the humans how to use chakra. He wanted to use it to unify them, to bring them together through ninchu. However, that is where their opinion changed. Naruto grabbed him and slammed him into the wall. They have been, having this discussion for an hour now. While Naruto believed that humans should survive, believing that they are not just meaningless life forms. He had seen the true depths of humanity. They're cruel, they're wicked. They will use chakra. They will use it for nothing but destruction and chaos. Without the power, they wage war. They bring destructions. They wipe out entire villages without the benefit of ninchu. What exactly do you believe will happen if you were to give them the knowledge on how to use this power? If you were to teach them how to truly possess ninchu? They will kill each other even more. The land will never be safe. I might differ from what Mother saw as how she controlled the humans, but when it comes to giving them power, I do not. They won't truly ever use it for good. You might think that you're helping, but you're dooming them. Hagoromo tried to persuade his brother, trying to tell him that it was the only way to unite them. Hamura tried to intervene, split on the matter. Stay out of this, the both of them said. I could stop you, said Naruto, as he looked at his brother. Both brothers gazing towards each other like they were about to fight. Hamura stood there worried as they gazed at one another. Hagoromo was stubborn, believing that mankind would grow from ninchu, but Naruto did not believe that they would. He believed they would start war, bring more chaos. The population will never evolve unless they truly learn how to understand one another. And it is the only way. Hagoromo told Naruto. Naruto looked at him. And if it means I have to get past you to do it, I will, Hagoromo said. Naruto tilted his head. You believe because you have that beast and the power sealed inside of you that you can get past me to do as you wish? Is that really how you want to do things? Naruto said, the ground cracking, the heavens trembling, the sky distorting. It started to fall. The raindrops hitting the ground. Hagoromo hesitated. Despite the power of the 10 tails which he had sealed away, he did not truly believe if he could actually beat his brother. He was unsure. Naruto was just simply that powerful. However, Naruto decided that he would not fight. Fine, he said. He turned his back as the sky cleared up. Do as you please. I will not stop you. But hear my words. I will not intervene in your stupid choices. Humanity will burn, and I will watch, because I warned you. I will leave them to grow. Leave them to evolve as you say. But through their evolution, there will be nothing but chaos and bloodshed. And I shall simply watch, taking sanctuary within my home. away from all of this. "Where are you going?" Hamura said. "It's been calling me for a long time now. Perhaps. The land was never a place I should truly walk. I shall take the sea, the oceans, the river. They will all become me, and I will become they. Remember what I have to say to you, brother." Naruto said, gazing towards Hagoromo one last time. "You will condemn humanity to nothing but suffering and chaos because of your one simple action here." That was the last time Hagoromo saw Naruto. That was the last time both brothers spoke to one another. While the world, from that moment, some knew about Hamura because he left after a while, safeguarding their mother's seal. Hagoromo remained, taking the title as the Sage of Six Paths. And his sons became the very definition of what Naruto said. Corrupted by power, corrupted by the fuel of energy that made them powerful. A war started. But even after his son's passing, other clans, they rose. And with the power of chakra, destruction, chaos, bloodshed. In this time, there was no living. There was simply survival. Hagoromo Ōtsutsuki could still feel it all. Still connected to the world. Forced to live in shame as his brother's words haunted him. He's brought nothing but death, destruction, and pure chaos. His brother's words came true. Teaching mankind how to use chakra had led to nothing but dangerous wars, them using the power at their disposal to bring calamity, plagues, and destruction upon the land. And just like that, the world forgot about the one that went into the ocean, the one that disappeared, the one that was wiped off the map, as a sage had walked the land, trying to unite and trying to help. Well, in the end, as years passed, his teaching was no longer remembered. Some tried to keep it, some tried to pass it down, but they were wiped out by their own unification of power, as others took chakra and used it for nothing but selfish reasons and selfish cause. On the day that Naruto had walked into the sea, vowing never to return, decades passed. However, unlike his brothers, who succumbed to the essence of time, he was different. Perhaps it was truly a curse, unified with the very essence that was ingrained into him from his birth, that was beyond anything that his brothers ever possessed. Time did not come for him. In fact, time just made him stronger. As he descended further than any human soul could follow, he became one with the abyss. And there, within the black silence of the world, beneath it, he shaped a new realm. He created a new home for himself. He forged cities from pressure and coral. He tamed beasts that were under the surface that could swallow tail beasts like they were nothing. He created people from his chakra and water, his children that were only loyal to him. The ocean welcomed him. It recognized his blood. It granted him everlasting. As long as there is water, his essence will always remain. He was granted true immortality, not the kind that was born of any jutsu, but a godhood that was tied to the very nature of water itself, the ancient force of the liquid pressure of water. And thus, the sea god Naruto was born. The land walkers forgot about him. History erased him. Under the wave, they worship his name though. His empire growing, spamming all over the planet, underneath, hidden away from those that walk on the surface. His world was protected by the Spear of the Abyss, a protective barrier that split the ocean from the surface. No one enter, no one leave without his permission. He watch, he remember his brother's mistake. As war, greed, and destruction wage on the surface, his brother should have listened. And perhaps then, they would have created something that would have been far better than this calamity. However, at the moment, we find Naruto, the ruler of the sea, as he sat on his throne. The water was like the very ear to them. They breathed it. They were one with it. He was currently sitting, observing those who were in front of him. His eyes, blue. There was no pupil, just completely blue. His hair, white, unblemished, purely, almost see-through. His upper half seemed to be covered in thick, powerful corals that reflected. It's almost like looking into the abyss. His lower half dressed in dark robes that covered him. There was nothing on his feet. His people dressed similar to him. Despite being underwater, none of them look wet. They look rather natural, like they were breathing the very air itself. Because their living and the walkers' living might be different, but it was similar in a way. Over the years that has passed by, Naruto had grown. Not physically. The moment his body reached maturity, it stopped aging. Naruto was never fully human to begin with. He was a Ōtsutsuki. But after truly uniting with the sea, he became something else. Most people would be bored, annoyed by their everlasting life. After a time, wanting excitement, wanting to leave, to explore, but Naruto became one with the sea. He could feel through it. He could experience through it. So those things never plague him, not even once. His life was connected to everything, all the water, all the ocean, which allow him to feel and see the bloodshed of the human world up there. But he made a promise that he would never save the humans. But he did break that promise though. Naruto despised majority of what mankind came to be, but there was a few land walkers that Naruto have spoken to. They were given passageway to enter down here. Special circumstances. Of course, they could not breathe like he could. Naruto hadn't been on the surface for a very long time. A very long time. But he's seen and felt the bloodshed and chaos. He's learned and experienced so much, even from the ones that were allowed passageway down here. The world never, ever discovered his people or himself. Those that Naruto trusted, they were loyal, without a fault. You see, Naruto was no hero. He's a god, a king, an immortal, calm like water until the surface decide to boil. He was the first son of Kaguya Ōtsutsuki, already created as a powerful person, but never truly taking full grasp of what he was until that day when he left his brother, when he left the both of them behind. He is now ancient, eternal, calm and measured. To his people, he was a creator, a guardian, a father, a divine law. The surface though, he was a forgotten ghost to them, a myth. Some had spoke about him because of his brother ways, his brother teaching, believing that one day he would see him again. But as time claimed his life, he never got to see him. To be quite truthful, Naruto doesn't hate mankind. but he just doesn't have a single faith in them. He saw the truth long before his brother did what he did. Humans crave destruction. Chakra would only magnify that. Even those that Naruto saw different from the rest. They were destructive before, but they changed their ways. And Naruto respected what they did for the people that they swore loyalty to. The people that they respected as their own. His emotions are like the sea. Calm. Vast. Extremely vast. Until someone stir him. Until someone anger him. There has been incidents. Incidents that nowadays shinobi would not remember. They believe it to be a natural disaster when entire civilizations were wiped off the map by a flood. Because Naruto was no hero to mankind, he did not see them the same way that his brother believed in them and failed. After all, he asked nothing from them. Not worship, not memory, only peace. To leave his sea alone. That is all he desired from mankind. And a lot of them has done so by simply forgetting about him, forgetting about his people. Naruto expects his people to follow the same command that he followed when not provoked. Do not interfere. Do not harm them. Do not give them a reason to seek us. There has only been one other incident in the past where Naruto had lost his cool, which revolving humans seeing it as the worst natural disaster to ever happen. But through time, a lot has been forgotten. So much. But his people would never go out of their way to antagonize humanity. They would never go out of their way to cause trouble. They watch, they observe. Because there was a lot of them on land. A lot of them there to watch and observe. In front of Naruto was his top tier guards. There were 5 of them. They were amongst his firstborn creations. Yes, you see, Naruto had created many in the beginning, but unlike him, they did not have everlasting life. Well, not in the way that you would think. There was no death in the sea. His people and himself did not see it as death because whenever they reach the end of their road, they simply became one with the ocean. Their presence would always be felt through their offsprings. In the beginning, all of them were created by Naruto, but over time, they came together. After all, Naruto created them as their own separate being despite all of them coming from him. They repopulated. They bring new life, creating some of his elite guards. They lived for a very long time. However, death for them was not a mourning period, it was a celebration. Feeling their essence as they became part of everything. They became one with everything. That is how it is for them. So that is why death was not a sad affair. As for his current 5 elite guards, there was Kilos, otherwise known as the Abyss Fang. His species was a deep sea Nurkai. His appearance is a shark-like humanoid with obsidian skin, jagged black teeth. His eyes are glowing faint blue. He was wearing bone armor, laid with dark scales. He had a special dual hook weapon forged from Leviathan bones. He could track chakra through blood, in water, or in the air itself. His blades are rather unique, tied into his fighting style, able to release pressure shockwave in the water or on land as well. Then you had Myrin, the Siren Queen, species, sea spirit, humanoid. Her appearance, a slender, silver-skinned woman with long flowing black hair that floated like ink in water. Her eyes are pure white. She had a weapon that was made from sea glass and bone. It was a harp. Her abilities tied in with her voice that can cause chakra fluctuation. It can cause confusion, paralysis, or hallucination. She could also release a melody that can truly affect the human walkers and sea dwellers in many different ways. Her voice could create illusion through mist and water vapor. Her voice was truly spectacular. Then you had Drenuk, aka the Leviathan Warrior, species, Narukai, Berserker class. His appearance was a towering, brown-skinned giant covered in sea runes. You could see markings all over his body, like a breaking volcano glowing constantly. His weapon was a chain that was linked to a sealed beast inside of his body, the spirit and essence of that beast. He was incredibly powerful. His strength alone could crush steel like it was nothing but paper. The mystical beast that was inside of him was the Leviathan. He could summon portion of the Leviathan's tentacles through his chains, using them. The strength behind the additional boost was truly incredible. Next, Nisara, otherwise known as the Abyss Shadow, species, half shadow spirit, half Narukai assassin. Appearance a slim, dark armor figure with a white mask, completely silent in movement. Possessing twin daggers that was made from condensive abyss chakra. They could phase into water shadow slips and phase into reflection as well. They move through the current as they move through the reflection at superhuman speeds that could not be seen or could not be tracked. As long as there was a reflection of the water, targets would fall before they even know what is truly going on. It strike without sound, drop without sound. Victims would not even know that they were stabbed until moments later. And the final, Zeral, the Coral King, species, coral bones, ancient, sea construct. He was a hulking warrior with corals growing and fusing into his chest. Half armor, half coral warrior. Coral spear weapon that could fracture into shards. He controlled every single one of the fractured pieces. Coral scape, could feel, could see through them, using the glance. Could be able to move from one coral to another. The enhancing strength, defensive wise, was beyond anything that the humans could produce as defensive protection. Say for example armor or weapons to block attacks. These 5 were Naruto, Royal Guards. There were several others of course. Naruto had so many. He had an entire army known as the Abyss Army. All of them possessing a unique different trait as they fall into different categories. The Spear Warriors, the Water Mist Manipulators, the Water Archers, the Water Streamers, the Tentacle Users. They all form into a separate category. His army was large and vast as well, growing constantly, rising, becoming stronger. The ocean was his home, and Naruto had sworn to protect it, sworn to protect his people that were there. If humanity up above decide to strike at them, if one day they made the fatal mistake, Naruto was going to erase all of them by having his people march across the land, wiping them out. As for the underwater capital, it was a very large, complex place. Naruto ruled as the supreme ruler. They did not fear him. They respect him. He was their father, their leader. All supreme final decisions that could lead to drastic changes like The action of the outside world has to go through him. But for minor things that were done in the many sections, remember, every single aspect of all of the sea was Naruto's. The humans up above could not pierce through it because of the abyss seal. But there were so many. That is why Naruto's home was larger than any of the nations. Because all of his was combined, just separated in different sectors. But all of it was under his control. His 5 abyssal guards were in charge of the abyssal court, along with a few others underneath them. They advise on war. They advise on threats, global politics. After all, no civilization is pure. No civilization is without their faults. There were some that did wrongdoing inside. Some that wanted to betray the way. Some that believed they should take the humans out and they should be the one to rule. They had been dealt with though, because Naruto gave them one strict order. Do not interfere with the humans. Allow them to make their mistake. Allow them to drench themselves in war and chaos. This does not concern them. They had their life here, their home here. You had the surface watchers, controlled by the scouts, tasks with monitoring humans' activities, controlling trades between the friendly people up above. And there was a few that knew of Naruto and his people's existence, but their loyalty was kept in check as they kept their mouth, not spilling a single thing, keeping things rather quiet, which Naruto respected them for that. So yes, there was a few humans that he tolerated, a few humans that he even reasoned with. They had ear pockets down here for the land dwellers to come down here, stepping into their home, stepping into their, environment. The only one that could allow anyone to come down here was Naruto, as his word was the control, his word was law. You had so many in the population. You had artists, scholars, healers, builders, hunters. After all, they had every single thing that the human dwellers have, including more. Their economy was based on deep sea farming, creatures breathing, and also abyss crystal mining as well, which was used to pave many of the beautiful streets. Corals that produced beautiful lights. Everything was natural to the ocean. Zeref, the Coral King, he was the one in charge of many of these different military strongholds, as he controlled the abyssal guards and armies in terms of their beast training, beast control, the Kraken riding. They had many spectacular beasts down here, many spectacular creatures that were there to, keep many in check. They lie deep down, away from most of this. The place was extremely large, larger than anything that those above had to offer. Naruto's sanctum was in the center of this all. It was right beneath the abyss barrier that separate them from the outside world. This is where Naruto lay. This was his home. Not a single mortal could step foot in this place unless they were summoned there or given permission by him. So while he had the final say, you had many others to govern over the civilians. As you had thousands upon thousands that did not fight. They live in harmony. They live in peace. Their civil unions and their basic politics were come in check. So while Naruto was the ruler of them all, the people underneath him kept the things that he didn't have to concern himself with. But Naruto loved his people, as they were all connected to one another. Yes, they were all connected. As for their food, they farm glowing kelp parts, harvest abyssal fruits, raise small aquatic beasts for food as well. It wasn't just that. The abyssal kelp that was grown in massive undersea farms. It provided nutrients and it was good for their chakra growth, their sea fruits, and their kelp berries. Nutrients, minerals, it had everything. As for their beast meat and fish, hunted by specialized sea hunters, always sustainable. Money did not really mean anything down here. Yes, money had little value. Services through loyalty. That was the currency that was here. Exchange, trade. These people have built a civilization that rely on one another to bring structure, to bring peace. There was so much more underneath the surface though. So much more. Naruto was happy. He chose the right path. And he knew that he made the right decision that day when he chose to walk away because his brothers would not listen. He smiled to himself. However, Naruto felt it. He felt it in the water the moment it happened. The change that would start everything. The change that would kick off events that the outside world was just not ready for. It was Naruto's only command. For those that went out to watch, to observe, do not interfere. Do not harm them. Do not give them a reason to seek us. However, tied within chaotic war and chaos, one of Naruto Nokai scouts was captured, mistaken for a new bloodline enemy. She did not try to harm them, following her leader's command. She tried to reason with them. She tried to show them that she meant no harm, but they torture her. They dissect her. They couldn't understand her though. They threw her body in the water to sink away, believing that she was simply some mutated beast. Her body was brought to Naruto. He felt it the moment her body touched the water. They were all shocked. None of them were used to this. They were not used to seeing things like this. The people were afraid. Even his 5 guards were disturbed. Yes, they'd seen outside death, but never has one of them died this way. Whenever they perished, their body became one with the sea, turning into the very water itself, but this was a death. She was tortured, dissected, picked apart. He rested his hand on her as Naruto pulled her towards him, feeling her pain in her final moments. He could see her memory just by their connection. He could see how much she cried, how much she begged, how much she pleaded with the humans, how much she stopped herself from not fighting back. She tried, but they knocked her out and captured her. All the guards and those that surrounded Naruto could feel it. They've only felt his anger once, when the humans nearly harmed one of his own, and he brought plague and destruction upon them. But this was worse. Every single dweller could feel the ocean turning and twisting. They could feel it in their very soul. I gave them peace. I gave them silence, Naruto said, as he felt her memories, experience her pain. And this is what they do. For the first time, they had a true burial. Something they never had before, but Naruto would not let her last memories be seen as something atrocious. She was a wonderful person that only seek to learn, only seek to understand. They were there to feel her passing, accept it. They all knew that this was a calm before, well, the storm. The guard stood by his side. It was only once that Naruto dubbed his armor, and once again, He put it on. Naruto stepped within the room by himself, gazing towards the wall, his weapons, his armor. As he stood there, thinking about his past, his mother, his brothers, he clenched his fists. Naruto has come to love each and every person that was down here. They were a part of him, so he thought of them as himself as well. Naruto loved himself. He loved everything. He loved the ocean. And a part of himself was just ripped away, mutilated and tortured because human beings wanted power. They wanted to grow stronger. Naruto clenched his fists. He warned him over and over again, but his brother would not listen. They had argued for an hour, but he just would not listen. Where was that bravado now in mankind? Where was that hope that mankind would be wonderful? It's been a long time since Naruto stepped on the surface, but on this day, he dubbed his armor the Abyssal Regalia, forged in the deepest trench of the world, where pressure can crush diamond and light has never truly reached. Helmet that was shaped as a dragon serpent from the deep. The sea crystal for eyes and fangs that shimmer. The fangs on display, like it was devouring Naruto's head. Chest plate that was formed of obsidian corals, fused with Ōtsutsuki chakra. The symbols carved into it. Connection for his mother. Connection that his own brother had ruined in the day. It was not seal, it was something much more powerful. Runes. Seals were just the watered down version of what runes truly were. It was much more powerful, much more substantial. After all, it was what kept their mother locked away. But nowadays, humans have learned sealing arts. The more watered down version of runes. He was donned with a cape that looked like living water, that was constantly moving. But it never dripped, not even once. Before his mother stepped foot on this earth, a meteor had fell from the sky. Many millennia before his mother even arrived here. It fell into the ocean. Naruto had found it and forged it into a weapon, a trident. The material was unbreaking, absorption, adapting to his own power. The armor seemed to forge with this look of abyss itself, as if you were looking into the empty abyss that was nothing. Because you were so small and the abyss was simply so large, beyond the human comprehension, beyond true understanding. Everyone in there felt its power. The ocean, rage. Meanwhile that was going on, they were known as the Uzumaki clan. One of the few that knew about the existence of Naruto. His name was Kaguya. Kaguya Uzumaki. When Kaguya heard that his scouts had picked up something, he expected to be approaching forces. After all, the world was not too fond of the Uzumakis right now. Due to their sealing arts, their longevity, their control over the tail beasts, the world was fearing them more and more. He expected an attack to come very soon, but Kaguya did not expect the reaction of the sea. His land was situated within the depths of the sea. Around him was pure water. His three lands were protected by the sea. That is where the connection came from Naruto, the god of the ocean. Kaguya was a very smart person, to not immediately think with hostility when he came across this being, because his entire existence would have been wiped out. He learned to understand him. He learned to understand his ways. He did not care much for mankind, but He did understand loyalty. And what was it that the Uzumakis had the most? Granted, in the beginning, the Uzumakis were ruthless, bloodthirsty, and scary. But over time, those things change. Kagami believed that Naruto was different on them because of the ways and the teaching that they have, especially their Fuin Jutsu. He seemed to be curious by it all. Kagami did not know that much about him, but he did know enough. There were stories of the past, stories before his time, and that was his doing. He never brought any war, he never brought any destruction. It was a good thing that the world did not know about him, because if they did, the world would try to control him and his people, and it would not end good for any of them. However, he was not the only one. The Great Elder Toad opened his eyes. The Great Elder Snake, the Great Elder Slugs. Every single summoning creature felt it. They knew who he was. They knew what he was. But him stepping to the surface, something that he hasn't done in such a long time, brought so many dread, so many fear. Ships traveling on the ocean were swallowed. Calamity came by just him finally stepping back out to the surface. Kagami decided to go and greet Naruto to understand what was this and what was this action he was taking. As Naruto Ōtsutsuki stepped foot on the surface, something that he hasn't done in such a long time, he breathed in the air. His people were similar to him in this way. While they prefer the water, they could of course alter their body in ways that allow them to walk on the surface. Naruto gazed towards the land, and he started to march, his trident in his hand, as he headed to where her life was taken, where she was dissected. Kagami raced towards the area, trying to find Naruto, knowing that the world would make a wrong mistake and civilization as they know it could come to an end as others start to rise out of the water. It was bad, extremely so. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. But I'm out. See you guys soon. Peace.